Roderick, that Chantry fellow who led us through the mountain from Haven. You know he died, I assume. Got us as far as the camp, and then... that was it.
I'm shocked he helped us instead of...
I imagine being attacked by something undeniably evil changes... I helped him walk. He... talked about you. He just needed to be sure you were Andraste's chosen. He was terrified of what it meant. But in the end, he believed. He asked me to tell you he was sorry.
Thank you for telling me about that.
I thought it was important. Anyway, we can talk about something else if you'd rather.
It occurs to me...
Beyond my being a mage from...
Beyond that...
And beyond my being so charming and well-dressed, which is obvious to anyone.
I'm well aware of your finer qualities.
Of course you are. You're a discerning and intelligent... Now, what was I talking about? Ah, yes, me. I am the scion of House Park. Naturally, I despised it all. The lie. That's Tevinter in a nutshell, isn't it? Needless to say, my family was not happy with my choices.
Why would your family be...
Because I rejected their... If they had their way, by now I'd be married to some unlucky girl. We'd live in luxurious despair, despising each other as I waited to take my father's place. I declined the honor, and thus it's best I'm far from home. Less of an embarrassment that way, you see?
I'm getting the impression that you don't care much for your...
On the contrary, I care for my homeland a great deal. Sadly, we squander it. We refuse to acknowledge how far we've fallen because we pretend the Qunari can be beaten. We pretend that we're superior to everyone. Not everyone feels that way. I don't. Sadly, we're the minority.
It just seems... So much of what you say about the Imperium...
It might sound that way. For all our faults, my people have... We are laden with history and culture. Tevinter is where Thedas truly began. We treasure our past and preserve it. You can walk down a side street and find nothing built during the... And despite appearances, we care. Deeply. About everything. We have no reserve, not in... If I truly believed my homeland was beyond all hope, I wouldn't miss it so much.
What did you mean by generation?
The great families of Tevinter don't have children. They refine traits, weed out the undesirable, and... My mother was chosen for my father because magic runs strongly in her blood. Now, they wanted a son who could become Archon to make House Parvis the end. They got me. A cautionary tale that you should be careful what you wish for.
Why remain with the Inquisition?
I'm not exactly... Not that it matters. I'm quite accustomed to being a pariah. I can do more for Tevinter here. If the Venatori succeed, it'll set my home... I'm sure some Magisters would disagree. But that's why we kill them.
I think I've...
That's too bad. I never tire of talking about myself.
I'd like to ask you...
Ah, yes. Everyone outside the Imperium always seems quite... Probably why they come up with so many ridiculous tales. Flying cows over Minrathous. That's madness. All right, that one's actually true, but the cows... I digress. Anything in particular you wanted to know?
Corypheus is a figure out of Tevinter history.
Yes, but that was a different time. The Imperium's power was... The Civil War had ended. The Magisterium was united, its armies scooping up bits of Thedas. The Magisters who entered the Black City. It was a demonstration of how exceptional to...
But who were they?
No one knows. There's no record of a Magist... All this happened 1400 years ago, before the Blight nearly wiped us out. Today, people half believe it's all just a story. That's what I believed.
We have evidence the story is...
But not who Corypheus is. There used to be families who claimed some of those That stopped when the Chantry appeared. Then it was shameful, and the... All we know is that some men and women entered the... What did they find? According to Corypheus, nothing. And only he could tell us...
It seems strange that an entire...
I find it strange that your mages... Actually, the fiction in the Imperium is... The Magisterium rules. That magisters are all mages is considered a convenient technicality.
What is the...
The upper house of the Imperial Senate, and the only part... Those seats are split among the circles of Magi, the Chantry, and the major families. All mages now. It's odd that outside the Imperium, you use Magister like it applies to every Tevinter mage.
If you're not a Magister, then what are you called? No special title?
I'm an Altus, which is almost as good as a Magister, depending on who you are.
I've never heard of an...
Upper class. Those families who trace descent from the Dreamers, the first prophets of... If you're a mage and you're not Altus, then you're later. If you're not a mage at all, you're Soperati. That's everyone else. We do love our fancy words.
I thought the Archon ruled...
Well, yes. Technically, he can overrule laws passed by the Magister. Even so, he gets to appoint new Magisters, which means all the families vie madly. Thus, the Archon gets invited to all the parties. The truest path to Tevinter influence, let me tell you.
If it's a fiction, that means mage...
Yes and no. Let me put it this way. Mages do. If you're not from the right family, chances are you don't rule anything. Maybe you... The idea that anyone could be a mage, however, keeps the masses placated.
Can anyone...
Technically. The potential runs mostly in bloodlines, but it's been known to... More importantly, commoners believe it can. Tevinter legend is chock full of mage heroes, so they hold out hope. Someday my son or my son's son will be a mage. Poor sods don't realize that means he'll be a quaestor at the arse end of the 100 Pillars, at best.
Being a quaestor is...
I imagine the average non-mage, counting numbers and shuffling papers all day, is better than many. If you're a second-class citizen among a pack of piranha, however, your outlook changes.
Let me ask...
Of course.
There's an Imperial Chantry, isn't there? With its own
You people aren't supposed to talk about the Black... If you mention him outside the Imperium, people make that face. Like you're... But yes, we do have the Chantry, or a version of it. Night and day comparing it to...
Is the Imperial Chantry...
Not in theory. The main difference is in the whole magic is meant to serve man, not ruler. Back home, ruling the unwashed masses is serving them. Perhaps it started with good intentions, but these days it's academic. The circles are in command.
There are circles...
We don't have dismal little mage prisons, if that's what you mean. We have Templars as well, but they don't cancel spells or what... They watch for abuse of magic, yes, but only those who are weak. Mostly they enforce the Magisterium's edicts. The Chantry smiles and nods from the sidelines.
Do you really call him?
We don't call him that, oh no. In the Imperium, he's the true divine. The woman sitting on... It all stems from a disagreement over Andraste. Marvelous, isn't it?
Why would they disagree over Andraste?
It's not my field of expertise, but the Imperium believes Andraste would... Down south, they say, no, she's the bride of the Maker, ascended to his side, divine provenance, a blah blah blah. We feel better believing Andraste was one of us. Makes executing her less... So we elected a man as divine, the South declared war, and we've been feuding cousins ever since.
So... the Imperial Divine is always a man?
All the better to distinguish him from that other... Don't think there aren't a number of female magisters who bristle at that. Why can't they? Same reason you never see a man on the Sunburst throne. Because that's how it's always been.
Do you consider yourself Andrastian?
Ah. The big question. It might surprise you that I do consider myself Andrastian. I simply... It is a relic, whether back home or here in the south. Something from a bygone age desperately cling... It's not an opinion that makes me popular.
I share your opinion, actually.
That's not surprising, considering what the Inquisition represents. I'll say this. I may not believe
In me?
that the Maker sent you, whether through Andraste or fate. You are what we needed most at the moment we needed it. That's what they will say in ages to come.
I'm not sure about that myself.
Doubt is good. I like doubt. It will keep you sane. Me? I've seen too much to believe I know. The world is bigger than I. Even bigger than you. It laughs at all the things... The Maker doesn't need me to believe. But I do. The thought of no one at all watching out for us is too...
Let me up.
So many questions.
I'm wondering if the Imperium would be...
I'd think you'd be more concerned whether or not they'd... They won't, of course. At least, not officially. They'll disavow secretly. Many Magisters will rejoice at the idea. And if the South falls to chaos in the...
It would be in the Imperium's best interest to help. Surely it could...
I think the Imperium gave up on the idea of... We've been fighting the Qunari for what? 200 years off and on? It's a point of pride. They'll sneer at the South behind their silk handkerchiefs and say, "You've had it easy." Let's not forget that the Inquisition seems to be an arm of the Orlesian Chantry. Anathema so far as they're concerned.
We're not part of the Chantry. The Chantry opposed the...
You think that matters? Don't be silly. The Herald of Andraste. Your very title smacks of the Southern Chantry. You may as well be... I think they're far more frightened what you'll do if you succeed.
Just how often is blood...
Oh,
Not at all.
that's what any Magister would tell you. They'd be convincingly effective. Of course, what people call blood magic here, and what we consider blood magic, are two different things.
What's considered actual blood magic in...
Blood magic isn't inherently dangerous. Using your own blood... The problem is that what's permitted only gets you so much power. And what if you need... That's where we get into sacrifices and demon summoning. Not behind closed doors, it's a different story. It's safe to assume that any mage of rank does it. The rest are quietly shut out of power, to put it bluntly.
You'd think the Templars...
I imagine they did. Once, their investigations might have been sincere. Nowadays, only the friendless are accused. Most of them probably innocent.
There must be some major...
Of course. I do. And I'm not entirely... Occasionally, there'll be a Magister who makes noise. And then the reform talk begins. All very Meanwhile, that Magister will be quietly shunned. Chances are, surprise, it's learned he was a Maleficar. Most learn to keep quiet. Me? I enjoy the allure of pariahhood.
Anyone who talks about the Imperium meant...
Ah. That is true.
And... did you have...
Not personally, but my family does and treats them well. Honestly, back home it's... how it is. Slaves are everywhere. You don't question it. I'm not even certain many slaves do.
That's it. You don't question it.
In the south, you have alienages, slums, both human and elven. The desperate back home, a poor man can sell himself. As a slave, he could have a position of respect. Some slaves are treated poorly, it's true. But do you honestly think inescapable poverty is better?
Is that what you call it? Treated poorly?
Abuse heaped upon those without power isn't limited. I don't know what it's like to be a slave, true. I never thought about it, but I suspect you don't know either. Nor should you believe that every tale of Tevinter excess is the...
That's all I...
Fair enough.
I should go.
Naturally. Did you know we're actually related, Inquisitor?
Related?
Oh, not first cousins or anything like that. You're a Trevelyan, however, and somewhere in the dank nethers of my family tree, perhaps he was even the one who ventured to Ostwick to establish the branch. We are talking long ago, of course.
You know that off the top of your head?
Not the top. Bloodlines are serious business in Tevinter. You- I heard your family mentioned, and I had to go through all the old mnemonics, but yes, I knew there was a reason we looked so much alike.
I'd rather we weren't related. That might make flirt...
Depends on which branch of the family you come. Regardless, I think we're still good to go. By at least 3 ages.
I should go.
Try not to die. I would notice you. Always with the questions. What will?
I should...
Naturally. The Inquisitor's work is never done, I see.
I should...
As you wish.